So here we go. There's the basic information. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited. I am also not a presenter, so I told Yvonne when she invited me to do this that I was sweating a week ago about it. So bear with me on that. But I want to tell you a little bit about cabin number 4. In October 2018, a dear friend and I decided we were going to celebrate our 40th birthdays in a very unconventional way. We hiked into a remote cabin in the Porcupine Mountains in the UP of Michigan, and we stayed there for 3 days. Neither of us had ever done anything like that before, at least not on our own. And in that time, we learned how to cut firewood, filter our water, and be prepared for any kind of weather. In the months before our trip, we laughed about our choice for a girls' weekend because most girls' weekends involve a beach or some kind of luxury, fancy drinks, that kind of thing. And we were looking at the finest dehydrated meals. Of course, what's a girls' weekend without t-shirts? When we couldn't find shirts that really represented what this trip meant to us, I designed them and had them printed for us. And that's where like the spark of an idea was born. I am the owner and founder of Cabin Number 4, a company that serves outdoorsy women who want to wear what they love to do. I say, sorry, Gary, because that's who my main target is, but my designs are intentionally not traditionally feminine, so I do get a lot of men who love to wear them also. We sell high quality, super soft and comfy screen printed shirts with designs that celebrate a love of the outdoors. We represent an ever-expanding variety of outdoor adventures like hiking, paddling, cycling, and photography. The business is modeled after my own personal values. It's focused on environmental responsibility, commitment to quality, and honesty and integrity. So that love for the outdoors leads to a commitment for caring for it. I keep that at the forefront of my mind when I choose shipping and promotional materials, product manufacturers, and I donate 10% of profits to reputable environmental organizations. This commitment obviously figures into my bottom line, but to me, it's a non-negotiable. I celebrate my love for the outdoors through my products and my actions. So how we got started, in August 2019, I did a pre-sale of 3 designs on my my first website, which is bluesundesigns.com. They did fairly well. I knew they would do better if they had their own site and their own branding and all of that, but I just wanted to get them out and see how they would do. I registered the business name, but I didn't do anything with it over the winter while I worked on other things and then prepared to relaunch them in the spring. I did that because obviously t-shirts are more of a spring and summer, fall kind of thing. So I kind of just wanted to take them, figure out my path, and then relaunch. So just as I was getting ready to order the new designs and restock, COVID happened. I considered waiting to launch because everything in the world was so uncertain. Nobody knew anything, kind of like what Jenny was talking about. And t-shirts seemed like a trivial thing to sell in a difficult season of our lives. So I kind of was just waiting. And then I decided, you know what, there would always be some reason to wait. So I just wanted to put it out there. And if it didn't go well, I could always hang on to the products and then try again. So on April 10th, I launched the new website under the name of Get Out. About 2 weeks in, I saw a Facebook ad for a company in Minnesota named very similarly, doing almost the exact same thing. So I don't know how I missed them in my initial research last year, but there it was. So I stopped, regrouped, and rebranded, and I relaunched again on May 14th. The Cabin Number 4 name is a nod back to that little tiny cabin you saw on that first slide. It was called Mirror Lake Bunk 4. So now that I've kind of gotten through that initial work period of, that was a ton of work, that I basically redid everything I did in the first couple of weeks, I do think that the name change is a good thing. Aside from avoiding the legal hassle down the road, the story of Cabin Number 4 seems to resonate with people better and just feels more personal. So where I'm at now, the new website, I've sold just about twice as much in 6 weeks as I did in the first 4 months of my my shirts being on my other site. Obviously, the data I have is really new, so it's not very deep, but it looks like my conversion rate is on par with retail average, which is about 2 to 3%. Since I built my site myself and I'm balancing kind of where I put my money, I can't do everything that I maybe want it to yet, but it's a strong start, and it's a basic website. Through my site, I've been capturing email addresses, and that list has doubled in the last couple of weeks. It's still under 100 people, but the growth is promising. I email that list about once a week, and then when they first sign up, they also get a series of 2 welcome emails. There's Facebook and Instagram pages. Those have been up since the end of March. And there is shopping activated there, where you can shop directly on Instagram and Facebook. I have gotten no sales that way. I've gotten people to my website that then buy that way, but none directly through those sales channels. Both pages have a couple hundred followers so far. I did do a targeted Facebook ad that used a pixel to drive traffic to my site. That was just, I think that was last week. Web traffic was up, and I did see an increase in purchasing. I'm going to be doing it again, but I want to try it differently. I have to do a little bit more research and learning on how I need to target that a little bit more specifically. I do have my shirts in 2 retail stores. One is here locally and one in South Dakota. I've had other stores express interest in my products, but with the pandemic, they're really uncertain and they're hesitant to buy. So I am interested in growing this area, but I'm respectful of that situation that a lot of retailers are in. Kind of like Jenny talked about, they're keeping their inventory lower, even though they're trying to refresh and make sure they're having new products. An opportunity that I see is bike shops. They are booming for the most part. They're very busy. And they may have interest in my cycling design. I have one design that's for biking, and then I have a new one coming too. I have reached out to a couple, and I intend to continue to do that as well. So where I'm going from here, I'm working on some new designs, like I mentioned, and I plan to release them periodically for the outdoorsy seasons. I have 3 new designs in mind, and I'm exploring the idea of like customizable designs for girls' weekends and family trips. Since that's kind of how ours started, I wanted to see how I can serve that group. I do plan to add more products. I just added tank tops in time for this hot weather this week, sweatshirts and hats, those kinds of things as fall approaches and as my business grows and cash flow allows. Like I said, I do want to add more retailers. I'm just navigating that carefully. And of course, I would love to continue my online growth. Profit margin on my website is bigger than when I sell wholesale, so that's obviously a great way for me to grow. The struggle is getting that in front of people, and since I'm doing everything myself, ads, SEO, social media, all of that costs time, money, or both, and so I'm just learning as I go. So with that, I would love to answer questions and get your idea for how I can get more people wearing what they love to do. Oh, was I supposed to stop sharing?
We got a,
Go ahead, Jim.
Katie, do you outsource your silk screening stuff, or do you do that in-house?
I have actually Brant on Riverfront Drive there does my screen printing for me. So I just design the shirts, but they do the printing.
Who was that? I'm sorry, you cut out.
Brant
Oh,
printing.
Brant monogramming, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Looks like Jenny has a question or comment. Go ahead, Jenny.
Okay, good. Sorry, I've got drilling outside. No, I would love to do like a little pop-up thing at the circus. Had other, well, we've had craft shows and whatnot before, but I would absolutely love, and ironically, our customers love outdoors, cycling, all that. So I think it could go really good. And if we did something where it was kind of pre-order so that you'd have a good idea so that you're not having to put all the money up front into it, and you can kind of, we give like a week and then you have some money. Yeah, I would love to do that. I think it would do very, very well. So I think
very cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll contact you when this is all done. I'll get your contact information in chat.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great example of entrepreneurs working together to help each other. Thanks so much, Jenny. That's great. Sarah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a question. So you said that you were going, you had some shirt sales in South Dakota. I'm just wondering how you reached out to those individuals or how you chose them. and how you plan on doing that going forward, deciding even going out of state or different retailers and stuff like that.
Well, the South Dakota one, okay, so I'm part of a group called Business Boutique. I don't know if people have heard of it. It's through the Dave Ramsey organization. And in that, it's a Facebook group. It's thousands of women business owners. And you can post questions and ideas and, hey, I'm struggling with, and things like that, kind of like 1 Million Cups, except all the time. And you get to know women through that. And I had posted a question about, I don't know, something to do with my shirts. And I got like 5 women immediately like, I love them. I want them in my store. I'm going to message you. And my question was not about getting in their store. It's because you're not allowed to sell in this group, which I think is an important thing. But so the one that ended up putting them in her store loves them, has reordered, I think 3 times now, different kinds and things like that. So they seem to be doing very well for her. As far as how I've reached out to other stores, Instagram, I see other stores that are, seem to be carrying things that are similar to what my shirts are. Bike shops, I've just Googled and just randomly contacted. That has not been fruitful so far, but I'm just kind of trying to see how I can do it, and learning as I go. My shirts were in Shields last fall, and that know Brandon Shield pretty well. Our kids play hockey together and things like that. So my shirts were in Shields last fall. I contacted him again this spring, and he was like, with things being the way they are, he's like, they did fine, but we aren't really looking for anything new. Nobody's coming into the store really. So yeah, it's a challenge because people are interested, but they don't want to buy right now.
That's awesome that you're reaching out, even just random calls and stuff like that. I'm originally from like the Fargo, North Dakota, Breckenridge, Minnesota area, and people love the lakes up there. So we should connect because I have a few boutiques in mind that I think they would look awesome in. Yeah,
and that's actually one of my how the community can help. I would love names of stores that you know of that my products would fit well in, and I'll obviously run with it from there. But that's one of the things I was going to ask of the community.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan, go ahead.
You talked about SEO earlier, and I was just curious a little bit of what you've been doing on that. I know you mentioned you did the Facebook advertising, but what's your goal to get to the point where if someone's searching for, outdoor focused shirts, they're going to find your website? I'm
learning. So as far as a goal, I don't necessarily have an outlined goal for that, but I've been using that. My website is WordPress. And so I've been using that Yoast SEO to make sure that I'm doing all the things that it says to do, and that I'm, including search terms and all of those kinds of things. And then when I get to a point, I'm obviously going to have to bring in somebody who knows way more than I do to really get it out in front of people. Right now, if you search cabin number 4, you get a bunch of cabins, and then I'm on the first page, and it's pretty obvious that it's me because of cabin number 4 is at different resorts, which is kind of funny, and then my store. But yeah, that is an excellent question, and that is a thing I'm going to be seeking help on as I grow.
Great. Jill.
I really love the name of your company, and I love that message for the branding. I'm wondering, when people do a purchase, do you have that message or that story on a tag or anything, or pamphlet, just to help spread that?
Absolutely. I actually had to redo my tags when I rebranded. So I had tags in April and then new tags in May. And each one, there's 4 different designs of the tag. The front side's all the same, and the back side, on 1 or 2 of them is an giving back. We give back 10% of our profits to environmental organizations, and then the others are just more like a story about hey, we get it, we love the outdoors, we love the smell, the fresh air, the crunching of the leaves, all of that. So each tag kind of goes along with that. And actually my about page on the website I redid after that presentation a few weeks ago by the woman who was telling you how to do an about page, and it tells that story as well. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Because for me, I would buy that just for the story and the message and give it as a gift too, so people could I just didn't pick out a t-shirt on the rack. I bought it for this reason. So messaging in that story is really important.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I would plan an outdoor trip with a bunch of girlfriends. That sounds great. And then get shirts, you know.
And that's one of the things I'm working on, is trying to figure out how can I do a customizable design where maybe I've got 4 different options, and then they can customize it with, instead of it saying hike the Porkies, it says hike the whatever, wherever they're going. I just have to figure out a way to make it like where it doesn't take me a ton of time, and can be a cost-effective thing too.
Great. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? Great connections for Kate. I was thinking about Fargo too when you were checking, Sarah. I was up there not too long ago, and they have some great boutiques at this woodworking. Oh, Brad, go ahead.
Yeah, one quick question. Have you partnered with anybody like groups like Becoming an Outdoor, what is it? BOW, Becoming an Outdoors Woman, I think it's called. They do like retreats and stuff like that for ladies that get together, kind of providing a shirt for groups like that.
I have not, but I'm writing that down. I'm in a lot of Facebook group for hiking and those kinds of things. A lot of those don't want you to sell your stuff. And so I intentionally, I don't want to break any rules, or, you know, of course I get really annoyed when people break those rules and sell their stuff, but I'm a rule follower. So, but yeah, thank you, Brad. I will be looking into that.
Tyler.
Nancy, I saw your question. My shirts are not in Shields right now. They sold out of them, and he's trying to decide if he's going to restock or not. But right now my bike design is at Nicollet Bike Shop. They bought that, but you can definitely, oh, thank you for the links. You can definitely get them on my website, and I do local delivery for free on my bike sometimes when it's nice out.
Cool. Tyler, I saw you had your hand up for just a sec. Do you have anything for it?
Yeah, in terms of like the customized personal stuff, do you have you checked with Brand to see if they do vinyl instead of screen printing? That would be a cost-effective option that has similar quality as the screen printing option. Downside, in my opinion, is that they're a little more rigid in terms of the artwork. Like, it's not as flexible and as nice, in my opinion, but it allows cost-effective customized options.
Yeah, I can't find vinyl. And actually, I have sent Brant through the ringer a little bit on my screen printing even. They do it special ways just for me, and they have to dial it in. And I'm extremely picky about how I want it to feel and how I want it to look. So if you go on the site, and if you ever touch one of these shirts, they're super, super soft. And the screen printing is one shot, very thin. You can barely even feel it's there, especially after you wash the shirt. And that's important to me. I want it to feel super soft, and I want it to feel like there's nothing, like it's not an extra layer. And vinyl definitely adds that extra layer. I appreciate that thought. And it's actually not too expensive to do a small run of shirts through Brant. I think I could do it for, $30 a shirt for the customers. It's more in my time. And how picky people can be, and how many tweaks and that thing. So I would have to figure out how I'm marketing this, where it's basically like you tell me the place, and I make it say hike the whatever, and you get what you get. You don't get to keep submitting changes and that kind of thing. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do that and serve their need, but also limit the amount of time I spend on each design. But I appreciate that idea.
I think you would need like a customizer within a website kind of thing, where like a custom ink kind of thing, where they've approved their proofs and essentially created their own artwork themselves for submission.
Yeah, that's a thought too. Of course, it's way bigger than a website than I could do myself.
Awesome. Hey, Gary, can I call on you to ask our final question?
Yes, and I will verify this food. It's great. My wife has one, so thank you, Kate. What can the community do for you? You mentioned a couple things, but maybe reflect if there's anything else what our community can do for you to help be successful.
Yes. The biggest thing is just new store contacts. So if you know people that are, or know stores, you've visited stores, even if it was just you went there once and their vibe matches kind of what I'm going for with my my products, I would love to know the names of them so I can just reach out and see if they'd be interested. I do zip code protect. That means that I don't sell to more than one store in the same zip code. The only exception I make for that is bike shops, because they're usually only carrying one design and they're not carrying the hiking and that kind of stuff. There's a little bit of exception to that, but website feedback, I'm always working on the site to make sure it's engaging and serving my customers well. So if you're on it and have feedback for me, that would be great. And then just spread the word, you know, if you like the shirts, even if you're not a hiker, you're not one that would wear the shirts yourself, but you know somebody who would, I would love it if you would just tell people about them.
Great, nice concrete help. Jenny raised her hand, so just checking in. Jenny, did you have a final thought for Kate?
I just wanted to give a couple compliments. I'm looking at your website right now and I love it. It's adorable and I think it's amazing. And to hit back on the softness of the shirt, it may sound so dumb, but that is huge. I hate those normal traditional men's t-shirts, unisex, they just aren't flattering. So I'm glad that is a huge thing. Just the feel, that it's not, the screen printing isn't stretching across your chest. So I love that that's important to you, and I think it's awesome. And I am already looking on here, and you have stickers, which I think is very smart. Yeah, I have 6 things in my cart right now, so I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
An awesome thing we can all do to support them is something Brad just suggested. Like their Facebook pages, check out their websites, share them with your friends. That's always a great thing. What a wonderful discussion today. Great presentations and conversations. Thank you so much, Jenny and Kate. Despite your nervousness, Kate, you're amazing. And Jenny, you're just inspiring. This was a really fun presentation. Thank you to everybody who asked questions and gave your generous time today.